All right, so I'm out camping, and unfortunately I don't have Dan Saha from Lippert Components camping next to me. I'm trying to use the auto level feature. It's blinking at me. I don't know the codes. I just want to leave. What is my process, or can I manually override to get this to an authorized RV service center?
Yeah, absolutely. So every one of the jacks has a manual override option on it. They're the exact same on every one of the jacks here. So on the top of the motor, which we'll go take a look at here in a second, on the top of the motor it takes a standard 3/8 drive ratchet, and on the bottom of the motor you use your cordless drill and a 5/16 socket to manually override that. So yeah, they're not stuck dead in the water. If for whatever reason they have an error code that they just can't get around, or going back to the power, they've lost power, they can use manual override options to get hooked back up, get it into a service center, get repaired, and then go back to camping.
All right, Dan, we're here in the back of the coach, so let's just talk about the manual override process.
Absolutely. So on the Ground Control 3 system, all the jack motors are the exact same.
Okay.
So like we talked about, on the top of the motor you got a 3/8 drive ratchet, or on the bottom take your drill with a 5/16 socket and you can manually override those motors.
Now,
So,
I want to be clear, we just want to use a drill. We don't want to use an impact, right?
yeah, just standard cordless drill, no impact, nothing along those lines, because otherwise we would damage the motor.
Okay.
So the first step we're going to do is, again, for whatever reason we've lost power to the jacks, we can't operate them off the touchpad, so we're going to go back to the jack themselves and we're going to disconnect. There's two harnesses there. One's a 2-wire harness and the other's a 3-wire harness.
Okay.
Disconnect both those harnesses, and then on the bottom of the motor there's this rubber cap right here. On the bottom of that, or behind that rubber cap, is a 5/16 that you can go ahead and manually override.
Okay.
Now you will want to use on the bottom of the motor a cordless drill, because a ratchet and a standard socket on there would take you forever, just the way the motor is designed. So
Okay.
you will want to use the standard cordless drill.
Okay.
Beyond that, all the jacks, once you get them fully retracted and you get going down the road, you'll have wanted to plug them all back in before you do anything as far as driving. Just help prevent, in the off chance that they would drift down, that would help keep them kind of locked in the retracted state.
And then, one question I have too, if you go through the process then of making the manual override for all the stabilizer jacks, is there a process relative to the control? If we want to go back to electric, like let's say the error was because of a dead battery, if they want to not have to always manually operate or try to get the system to work again once the batteries are charged, in the case that that's the error code, is there any process that they have to go back to using electric power?
So if they've got an error code on the touchscreen inside the coach, they would simply have to enter or hit enter to acknowledge the error code.
Okay.
And as long as the issue has been resolved, the error code should not come back.
Okay.
At that point, they can go ahead and go through the operation on the touchscreen inside, or back out in front of the unit where we were just at.
As it was before.
Yep.
Okay.
And then just go from there.
All right, Dan, while we still have you back here, let's talk about maintenance.
Sure, absolutely. So in this case, any dirt debris will want to be washed off. Again, use the city hookup, that's perfectly fine. And then whether it's the rear jacks here, these round shaped jacks, or the front landing legs, those tube shaped, square shaped guys, hot soapy water, clean them all off, a little bit of dry silicone spray, and they're good to go.
Okay, nothing internally that we have to do?
Nope, absolutely not. And then with the Ground Control 3, besides that, the biggest thing that they need to do is maintain those batteries. Otherwise, they will start to get specific jack errors simply because they have low voltage.
Now, one more question I want to ask. In the event of camping, and I haven't been everywhere, but sometimes there's an issue. Maybe one of these stabilizer jacks get damaged. Can they replace parts?
Yeah, so all the leveling jacks have parts and pieces that are replaceable. So for this jack particularly, the foot pad and the pole pin that hold in place are replaceable. The entire jack itself is replaceable, and then the motor itself is replaceable. And then every other part and piece, as far as the harness that connects it up front, the touch pads, every part and piece can be ordered individually to replace whatever may need to be replaced.